At 9:23 in the morning on May 5, 1983, the flight engineer on an Eastern Air Lines TriStar looked at three oil quantity gauges and saw the same number on all of them. Zero, not one engine, not two, three. There were 172 people on board. The airplane was over open water east of Miami, and the failure had already happened. It happened the night before, in a hangar, 3 times in a row, the same step missed each time. This is the story of Eastern Air Lines Flight 855, and of why the National Transportation Safety Board spent most of its probable cause statement talking about people who never touched the airplane. The airplane was a Lockheed L-1011-1 TriStar, registration November 334 Echo Alpha, 3 Rolls-Royce RB211-22B turbofans, 1 under each wing and 1 buried in the tail. The flight was short, Miami to Nassau, the kind of leg crews fly without thinking twice. In command was Captain Richard Body, 58. Also on the flight deck was Captain Steve Thompson, 48, aboard as a supervisory check airman, and flight engineer Dudley Barnes, 44. 3 engines is supposed to be the answer to engine trouble. Lose 1, you still have 2. Lose 2, you still have 1 and a checklist. Redundancy only works when the 3 engines can fail for different reasons. To understand what went wrong, you need to know what a master chip detector is. Inside a turbine engine's oil system sits a magnetic probe. Oil flows past it, and if metal is wearing off a bearing or a gear, that ferrous debris sticks to the magnet. That's magnetic chip detection. A mechanic pulls the probe, looks at what's clinging to it, and gets a read on the engine's internal health without ever opening it up. Fuzz on the magnet is normal wear. Chunks mean something is coming apart. The detector sits in a housing full of pressurized hot oil, and it seals against that housing with 2 O-rings. On the night of May 4th, the TriStar went through overnight maintenance in Miami, and that work included a magnetic chip detector check. The replacement detectors came out of stores. They were not pre-fitted with O-rings. The established procedure put the responsibility on the mechanic to fit those seals and verify them before installation, and that procedure was not followed. So 3 detectors went into 3 engines with no O-rings on any of them. And here is what makes it lethal rather than merely wrong. It was the same task, skipped the same way, on all 3 engines, on one shift. Every engine got an identical defect. The redundancy was gone before the airplane ever moved. Flight 855 was almost at Nassau. At 9:15, descending through 15,000 feet, the low oil pressure light came on for the number 2 engine, the tail engine. Oil pressure and oil quantity are 2 different indications, and the difference matters. Quantity tells you how much oil is in the tank. Pressure tells you whether the pump is still able to deliver it where it's needed. A pressure warning on one engine is a bad morning. The crew shut number 2 down, got a clearance back to Miami, and started climbing toward flight level 200. For about 8 minutes, that looked like the whole story. Then the flight engineer scanned the other 2 engines. At 9:23, all 3 engines were indicating 0 oil quantity. Oil was leaking out of every one of them, past the seals that weren't there. An engine starved of oil does not stop politely. Bearings gall, temperatures spike, and the machine eats itself. At 9:28, at 16,000 feet, the number 3 engine flamed out. Flame out means the fire in the combustor goes out, the engine stops producing thrust, and becomes a windmilling piece of metal. Now a 3-engine airliner climbing back toward Miami was down to 1 running engine, and that one had already told the crew it had no oil left. At 9:33, at roughly 13,000 feet, number 1 flamed out too. Flight 855 had no engines running. A powerless L-1011 becomes a glider. It descends, and it descends fast. The airplane came down toward roughly 4,000 feet at about 1,600 feet per minute over water, with the crew working the restart. That's where windmilling matters. With no combustion, the airflow through a descending engine still spins the fan and the compressor. If the crew can get fuel and ignition into it while it's turning, they can relight it. That's a windmilling restart, and it costs altitude, the very thing they were running out of. Number 2, the engine they'd shut down on purpose back at 15,000 feet before any of this came back. 1 engine out of 3 on an airplane certified to fly on 2. At 9:46, Flight 855 landed at Miami on number 2 alone. Nobody was hurt. Not one of the 162 passengers, not one of the 10 crew. 31 minutes had passed between the first warning light and the wheels touching down. That's the part that gets told in the bar. The safety board was interested in a different part. Because when investigators pulled the maintenance records, they found what the board would later call similar previous occurrences on the same airline. More than one. And each time, the airline had the information it needed to stop it from happening again. The NTSB adopted its report, R8404, on March 9, 1984. The probable cause reads, the omission of all the O-ring seals on the master chip detector assemblies leading to the loss of lubrication and damage to the airplane's 3 engines as a result of the failure of mechanics to follow the established and proper procedures for the installation of master chip detectors in the engine lubrication system. The board kept going. The repeated failure of supervisory personnel to require mechanics to comply strictly with the prescribed installation procedures, and the failure of Eastern Air Lines management to assess adequately the significance of similar previous occurrences, and to act effectively to institute corrective action. Read that again and count the layers. Mechanics who didn't follow the procedure, supervisors who repeatedly failed to make them follow it, and management that saw similar previous occurrences and failed to act. The board could have stopped at the first clause. It didn't. It wrote a sentence that says the hands were the last link and the shortest one. That's why maintenance programs now treat a single task performed identically on every engine on the same shift as a hazard in its own right, because identical work produces identical defects, and identical defects delete the redundancy the whole airplane is built around. Somewhere tonight, a shift supervisor is deciding whether to split that job across 2 mechanics. Eastern 855 is the reason the question gets asked at all.